And so that pushed us together, and then we became lovers totally. He was absolutely the romantic love of my life.
If you guys had not left San Francisco and moved to Los Angeles, that you would still be together, more than likely married, but that you would still be successful.
The troubled connection between Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks has shaped the band's instantly familiar sound. Their passionate starts, famous marriages, and devastating breakups that sent shockwaves through the music business. There is still more to the story, though. What happened with Buckingham's departure from Fleetwood Mac 2000? When is their last tour showing all of their songs together?
My relationship with Stevie is fragmented. I think there's still a lot of love there.
Watch how Lindsey Buckingham recently shared some sad news about dating Stevie Nicks. Romance in the beginning. Somewhat insignificant events happened at a Palo Alto high school in the late 1960s that changed the course of rock music forever. Stevie and Lindsey's friendship. Hi, Stevie. When Lindsey and Stevie met for the first time in Palo Alto High School in the late 1800s, they both had a lot of untapped musical ability and dreams that they wanted to make come true. Lindsey, a skilled guitarist with a charming smile and quick fingers, was already becoming known in the local music scene with his band, Fritz. At first, he was mesmerized by Stevie's golden hair and strange aura. During his request, he showed both joy and care. Stage audiences were captivated by their undeniable chemistry, leaving them wanting more. As they followed their own love interests, they stayed friends off stage, unaware of the deeper link that was growing between them. Aspiring to become famous singers, they decided to leave their comfortable neighborhood and go to Los Angeles at the start of the 1800s. Through this brave move, their friendship would grow into a love partnership. The fact that Lindsey had mononucleosis made their trip to Los Angeles less possible, so they had to schedule it a year later. Stevie's caring side showed during this tough time and helped Lindsey get better. They became closer during this fragile time, which set the stage for their future partnership. Eventually, after a lot of waiting and excitement, they arrived in Los Angeles in 1932. Later, they became friends in both life and music, Buckingham Nicks. As a team, they worked hard on their self-titled debut record, which showed off their vision and ability. Unfortunately, the harsh realities of the music business caught up with them quickly, and their record company fired them. Not letting up, they kept going, working as waitresses and studio guitarists. With Mick Fleetwood's offer to join Fleetwood Macs in 1994, Stevie and Lindsey went from being failing artists to becoming famous all over the world. The intense attention of celebrity put their relationship to the test. So they moved back in together so they could balance their relationships and jobs. Personal problems and unrest hit the famous rock songwriting group Fleetwood Mac in the early 1990s. Their past relationships caused problems between them, which led to them working together and releasing their self-titled record in 1995. The album cemented the band's place in rock history. It went straight to the top of the charts and had sold-out concerts, media appearances, and dedicated fans. Outside of public view, however, the band's relationship was getting worse as the stress of their fame began to affect their relationships with others. Pressure to build on their success led them to make Rumours, their most famous and intense album to date. Although they were going through a lot of mental turmoil, they worked hard on every song on the record for more than a year. Although Stevie and Lindsey's relationships had problems, they were still able to express feelings through music that they couldn't say in person. Sharing a history gave their acts more meaning and energy, and the record became an important part of both of their lives. Critics and fans of the band Fleetwood Mac were shocked by the big problems they were having in February 1997. Following their breakup in 1998, the band and Fleetwood Mac ended their romantic relationship, but began a complex and long-lasting artistic partnership. Millions of people kept connecting with the band's music, and the record came to represent how mess could become art and how beauty could come from pain. Additionally, Fleetwood Mac's Rumours record showed how strong their shared history was and how they could keep making music even though they were going through hard times in their own lives. Fleetwood Mac, a famous rock band, was in chaos after Lindsey Buckingham, their longtime guitarist and leading creative force, quit without warning. Plaintiffs in Buckingham's case against his former teammates included breach of fiduciary duty, open contract, and intentional meddling with future economic benefit. Initially, the reasons for his departure were not made public. Not saying anything by the band made more stories spread about why Buckingham really wanted to leave. Speaking openly in interviews, Buckingham said that Stevie Nicks, his longtime singing partner and ex-lover, gave the band a choice. Either Buckingham goes or she walks. This information made things even more confusing in Fleetwood Mac, where relationships were already difficult. It hinted at long-standing problems within the group. Unfortunately, the civil disagreement was settled without going to court. Because of the emotional impact, both the band and its fans felt like Fleetwood Mac was completely empty. Eventually coming out, Stevie Nicks talked about Buckingham's departure in September 2021. The fight started over tour dates, and she said the last straw was when she said Buckingham was rude to her during her award speech at the Musicaire Person of the Year event. Because Buckingham thinks Nick might return the favor, their already complicated past takes on an interesting new dimension. It was his opinion that the odd circumstances surrounding the album's creation might have made it harder for them to properly deal with their breakup. Despite the pain, they made timeless music, which shows how determined and dedicated they were. Recent reports of a gathering centering on Lindsey Buckingham suggest that a new era may be about to begin. When Fleetwood Mac's founder, Peter Green, died too soon, reports of a reunion began to spread. The late great drummer Mick Fleetwood got in touch with Mick Buckingham after not talking for years after the death of Buddy Holly. The conversation gave people hope for a future they had given up on and hinted at peace. Fan and industry insiders quickly spread rumors that they might get back together by pushing for one last trip. Millions of fans around the world were excited about the idea of Fleetwood Mac going on one last big trip. It would be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to witness rock history being made. Although Lindsey Buckingham said he was ready to let go of the past in order to focus on the music they made together, it looked like he was also open to the idea, but problems stand in the way of a meeting. Buckingham and Nick's difficult relationship is still one of Fleetwood Mac's biggest problems. Whatever reuniting there is, these personal problems would have to be solved. Additionally, Buckingham and Nicks have not talked to each other in recent years, which has added to the tension. Closing this gap would require both a business and an emotional reunion. Rumors of a Fleetwood Mac return bring up some interesting questions about the music business and the meaning of memories. When many famous rock bands are starting their last tours, if Fleetwood Mac made a comeback, it would be more than just a trip down memory lane. Reunions would be a real event, a moment of rock and roll redemption. At this point, though, it's important to remember that a return is still mere speculation. Christine McVie, the emotional singer and guitarist for Fleetwood Mac, went solo in 1994 and 1998, showing off her distinct singing skills. Her joint album with Lindsey Buckingham in 1998 was another example of how good Fleetwood Mac members are at working together creatively. McVie passed away in November 2002. He was 79 years old. While remembering her, Fleetwood Mac sang Songbird at the 2003 Grammy Awards. As the band's popularity peaked, bass player John McVie went his separate way, showing that he could deal with personal problems. Fighting and beating colon cancer in 2013 adds to his inspiring story. It's fitting that the band's name, McFleetwood, honors the tall figure's many hobbies and energetic drive. For example, he has tried his hand at business by getting into the wine business and opening a restaurant called Fleetwood's on Front Street in Maui. Each member's interests and personal jobs give their artistic personas new meaning. This lets fans see them not only as members of a famous band, but also as complicated people with unique pasts.